Hi YT fam, welcome back to a new video. I've been asked by a couple of people, friends and people I've discussed minimalism with, what you can do and how you can get into a minimalist lifestyle without just getting rid of everything initially. And I came up with 5 steps to becoming a minimalist, but 5 sort of easy to get started ways without just throwing everything away in your house, because doing that is quite difficult, especially if, I think personally, you haven't followed the steps before the big declutter. So I've got a little list here of my 5 steps, and I'm just going to go through them with you so that if you want to get started in being more minimalist in your life, then these are easy ways to get started. So starting with number 1. Number 1 is mindset. So before I started doing a massive declutter in our house this year, at the beginning of the year, I really feel like I had to get my mindset right first. And I feel like that probably happened last year. I just got into a more minimalist mindset naturally. I think it was a natural thing for me. But I think it's something that you can easily do yourself if you are wanting to do that. So getting into that minimalist mindset, it's about living more simply. It's about simplifying your life in every which way you can, minimizing the stress or as much as possible. Obviously, there is always going to be a certain amount of stress that comes with life. That is just unfortunate, but there are things that we can do ourselves to slow down and become more minimalist. And that does really start with mindset. It starts with being more intentional with our money, being more intentional with our actions, being more intentional with our thoughts and our processes, the things that we do on a daily basis. So yeah, get your mindset ready for minimizing and living a more minimalist life. Number 2 is low buy and no buy. Now, I have never successfully done a no buy. I prefer low buy just because I think there is always things that we need in life. Certainly for me, it's not just myself here, it's my family as well, my husband, my son. So we're probably not ever going to go through a month without buying anything. And by that I mean obviously not the essentials like food and things like that. Everyone needs to buy those. But there are always going to be things that we find as we're pottering about the house that maybe is going to simplify our life and make things easier. So, useful tools. So I think for us it's more about low buy instead of no buy. And I think if you can practice low buy for a few months and see how that feels, see how much money you're not making but keeping in your bank account, it really helps you to get into that more minimal mindset, because you are not buying things just for the sake of buying things. You're not contributing to that overconsumption that is plaguing our world, and you are feeling better. Sorry, that was my phone. you are feeling better for the fact that you are saving money and not buying things that initially may bring you joy, but a day later you need that hit again. And it's that overconsumption that actually is making us unhappier. So mindset, lower buying, months, years. Just start those low buying processes. Only buy what you absolutely need and what your essentials are. You know, if you've got a pair of shoes and they've completely worn out and they're the ones that you wear all the time, fair enough, they need replacing. But if you're just buying a new pair of shoes because you've got an important dinner or something to go to, I'm sure you can find a friend or a family member that would happily lend you a pair to save you buying another item that's just going to sit in your wardrobe unused. So little things like that, lower buying periods can really help set you up to be more minimalist in your life. Number 3. So I like to use some rules, and some of the rules are really well known, like the 1 in 1 out rule. If you do purchase something and you bring it into your home, you send another one out of your home. So you're not increasing the number of items every time you buy something, because it's always staying balanced. If one comes in, one goes out. There are so many different rules, but that one is a really simple one that I think most of us can easily use and can easily put into motion in our homes, in our lives, without too much trouble, without being without it making too much difference to our lives. And it doesn't have to be the same item. You might bring in a new t-shirt and perhaps you get rid of an ornament. It doesn't have to be in the same category. It can be in the same category if you like, but I think what's important is that it's the process of bringing something in and letting something go. I think that is ultimately the most important thing. Number 4 is essentials. So once you've got your mindset into gear, you're not buying so much, you're at a point where you're low buy, you're then anything that does come into your house that you do buy, you're then letting something go afterwards. I think once you've done those first 3 steps, you can really start thinking about what is essential in your life. And I think the essentials start to become more obvious when you've completed the first 3 steps, because I think you're really then being intentional with your life, and you're really being intentional with your thoughts and what is really working for you in your life, what you really need. When I got to this stage, I actually reduced down my hair and beauty routine to quite an ultra minimalist area of my life. I used to have bottles of shampoo, bottles of shower gel, body creams, so many products, hair products and body products and makeup, and to be honest, the thought of it now just absolutely blows my mind. But what all of these steps have enabled me to do is just really focus on what's essential. I now have one body bar that does my hair and my body, although I am still currently in a little bit of a project pan with soap bars, because I did get a little bit addicted to buying soap at one stage whenever I went to like an artisan fair or something. So although I do have a body bar that when I'm away and things like that, I will only take one with me, currently my hair and body bar is just being used as a shampoo, and I'm currently getting through my soaps for the rest of my body. But yeah, eventually once they're gone, I will just be down to 1 bar. I don't wear a lot of makeup anymore, so that has significantly reduced. And I use 1 oil for moisturising my entire body, including my face. I use argan oil, and you can use that in your hair as well. So I really love multi-purpose products, and that area of my life has significantly reduced to just a few products. I think it's literally about a handful of products that I use on a daily basis, and that is all I need. They are my essentials, and I don't feel like I'm lacking or going without. It's just so freeing and so much easier to just have a minimal amount of things. So that leads me on nicely to number 5. Number 5 is the final step, and that is the step where you really do start to declutter. So step 5, decluttering your items, your house, your home, your possessions. That is something that I am still going through. I am 10 months in now to decluttering my life, and I have decluttered an insane amount of items this year, and I am really feeling so free and so light, and it's really hard to describe to someone when you're not going through it. But I just feel so good about myself. Obviously, I still have stresses in my life. There are still things that cause me stress, but my home and my possessions are not one of them. And it's really surprising how light you feel once you start reducing your possessions, because I don't think I realised how much mental space all of my things were taking up without me realising it. It was like my brain was full of all of the stuff that I owned. And I think it really is true what they say. Your products, your things end up owning you. The stuff you own ends up owning you. And we really, as humans, really don't need a lot to be happy and to be living a fantastic life. Wherever that may be and whatever that is doing, you really don't need so many things. We live in such a consumerist society now, and I think we really think that we need all of these things to be happy, but the trouble is that is just a vicious cycle of constantly needing new things to make us happy. If we stripped all that back, actually we find that the most simple things in life are the things that do really make us happy. That is just my opinion, and I really do think that those 5 steps are a great process and a way to get you living a more minimalist life. And these can take months. You could do all of these steps in a month if you wanted to, or it takes you a year. It doesn't matter. I think the most important thing is if you're looking for a change and you're looking to simplify your life, the most important thing is to start. And if the first step takes you 5 months, then it takes you 5 months. It really doesn't matter. What matters is that you have begun the process. So I really hope this has inspired you. Thank you so much for watching, and if you've made it to the end of my little ramble, then thank you even more. I really hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you again soon. Bye for now.